Welcome to a roundtable discussion, Why Komen Central Valley? I'm Sharon Johnson, Executive Director of the Susan G. Komen Central Valley affiliate. Joining me today are 5 project directors who represent the nonprofits who are grant recipients of the Susan G. Komen Central Valley affiliate. You may be wondering what the word grant means and how we award funds to these 5 agencies. You may have heard about the Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure here in Fresno. This is a U.S. track and field 5K certified run, as well as a non-competitive walk. The purpose of the event is to raise breast cancer awareness and, more importantly, funds for local residents who are uninsured or underinsured. 75% of the net proceeds from our race stays right here in the community to fund these vital and life-saving programs: mammograms, diagnostic ultrasounds, lymphedema treatment, cancer-related legal issues, redefining hope for breast cancer survivors, and limited financial assistance so that breast cancer survivors can keep treatment appointments. Once a year, nonprofits submit an application for funding to the affiliate. A grant review committee reviews these applications and scores them. Programs that are funded meet our strict criteria that is based on making education, screening, and treatment available to our local women and men. The remaining 25% of the net proceeds from the race funds grant process through Komen National Breast Cancer Research. I'd like to introduce Michelle Bronson, Executive Director of the Deaf and Hard of Hearing Service Center, and our interpreter, Amy Hall. Thank you, ladies, so much for being here today. Michelle, you've been a past grant recipient, and we're very excited to have you again for 2014-15. What's the name of the grant project this year?
Well, first I want to thank you so much, Sharon, for funding our program. This year it is called BEST, which is an acronym. The B stands for Breast Cancer, E is Education, and Support Team. We decided to call it BEST because we really wanted to focus on breast cancer education, but as well to establish a support team for our deaf and hard of hearing community, women and men who are a part of this.
So you're actually like a patient navigator for those women and or men that may be going through breast cancer.
Yes, correct. Because oftentimes when they are diagnosed with breast cancer or they are detected early, they don't know what to do next. They don't know what the next step is. And when they go to their appointments, the doctors say, you have breast cancer, and they give them a packet of information and say, read through this. And because oftentimes English is not their first language for the community members here who are deaf and hard of hearing, we like to have materials that are in American Sign Language so they can learn what breast cancer is and what treatments are available.
How important is it for the deaf and hard of hearing community to have that customized breast cancer awareness program?
Wow, it is just critical. As I just mentioned, oftentimes when they go to doctor's appointments or for mammograms and they are informed that they get this diagnosis, they don't know what the process entails. They don't know what the treatment options are. They're overwhelmed. They can't read this huge packet of information. And while they're so overwhelmed, they're also stressed because they think, well, this is a life-altering disease and I don't know what to do and I don't know what this information says. So they're welcome into our program, the BEST program. We have facilitators who will sign in American Sign Language and explain what breast cancer means and what the treatment options are that are available to them. And that empowers them to make decisions that they want to do. So when we interpret it into sign language and show them videos that are captioned or signed by our previous breast cancer survivors, they actually had made some videos in ASL, so we can answer their questions and provide in a culturally and linguistically appropriate format so that they can understand the information in their primary language. So, and we also use a lot of visual aids, which is crucial to show pictures and using the computer. We have cards, for example, some of our deaf and hard of hearing community members, ASL is not their first language. Perhaps it's LSM, which is essentially Mexican Sign Language. And so we have flashcards. We've made those in the past through a former grant, so we're very excited to use those. And those have vocabulary on them and the associated sign, so they know what that means and they can understand in LSM what the word means, and then also in ASL. So they can know what those terms mean, and that's part of the education process. So we're able to customize information in their own language and in a format that they can understand, so they know what everything's all about.
That's outstanding, because so many times in communities they may not have that second language problem. And I didn't know before that it wasn't just American Sign Language that everybody uses. Are there different, other than the ones that the Latinas may use, are there others in Fresno?
Well, we do have some who are perhaps from Vietnam or Korea, and so we do have certified deaf interpreters that work with us, and we serve those deaf and hard of hearing community members. Perhaps they're foreign exchange students, but for whatever reason they are in our community, and they're able to get the information in a way, perhaps it's more visual, so that they can understand, and we do customize it to the different language options that our community has.
That's wonderful. What type of projects do you have planned to educate this year?
We're very excited because through the BEST program, we do have 4, and we actually added a couple more. We have an ASL movie night, so ASL breast cancer movie night. We have videos that were created from 3 deaf breast cancer survivors. They've shared their story, so we invite the community members to watch these videos, and then we have discussion groups so we can talk about what the videos mean. And the information, of course, has changed. Treatment evolves. They're always coming out with new technology, so we expand on perhaps what one survivor said, but now some new technology that's available. And new this year, we are actually going to have a Jeopardy game night, which obviously has to do with breast cancer vocabulary, so we had a lot of fun developing that. And the game will be hosted during Deaf Awareness Week, which is in September. So that is a perfect fit for that week. We'll invite all community members. Another new one that we came up with is a pink cake walk, and that is going to be in conjunction with a carnival. So we will have a breast cancer educational game and as well a pink cake walk, so which is a fundraiser so we can support the deaf team for the Race for the Cure that we always have. And so we'll use that as an opportunity to expose our deaf and hard of hearing community to play games related to breast cancer, but then also they can have fun, and that will work really well for our community. And also the event will have a special quilt which is made with bras. So that's one of the things our deaf and hard of hearing women here in the community, they have the Sew and Sign Guild, and they have made this quilt as a fundraiser for Komen as well. So we would like to incorporate that with our project. And it's also a fundraiser. We will auction that off. And lastly, in March, we will have a health fair, and we will have all sorts of different organizations, businesses, and then obviously people who serve people with breast cancer, and so they'll know what's available. We'll have clinics, we'll have wigs, different clothes that are customized, whether it's bras or things that are available to community members, because oftentimes they don't know about resources in the community. So we will invite all of these businesses and organizations. This is a really popular event, so we're very excited to be able to provide that. At the same time, these people, the vendors that come, can learn about our community, and oftentimes they're curious about sign language and how to use interpreters, and so we learn about what they offer, the resources they have, and they learn about our resources. So it's a two-way street. We mutually benefit from each other, so that's great. And lastly, we will have our annual Valley Deaf Festival. So we will have a breast cancer BEST booth, and that's where about 700 to 800 people attend, and we can give different information. It's one of the many ways that we can recruit deaf and hard of hearing community members and their friends and family and professionals who work with our community.
I think that's awesome, and what I really enjoy hearing is how much fun is going to be incorporated in learning about breast cancer awareness.
Yes, absolutely. We've noticed when we use humor and games, it really helps people to retain that information, and as well having hands-on activities. So we like to incorporate tactile and visual ways for information. You know, so for example, at the booth, we might have a game where they have the synthetic breasts and they learn to find the lumps within the breast. And so that's hands-on. It's an activity where they can see, oh, this is a different size lump. Whereas people often think, well, I don't have a big lump, but they don't realize that small lumps could also be an indicator. And so we try to incorporate games and creative ways to give people information and educate our community.
That's excellent. How many people do you suppose you've served over a cumulative time that you've had a Komen grant?
I would say per year we have served about 1,000 people. So for 5 years that we have been blessed to receive funding from Susan G. Komen, we have served over 5,000 people because of the many different events that we host and the one-on-one medical appointments where we go with someone, a client, to their appointment to make sure that they have an interpreter or a support team, be involved in the discussion of any breast cancer related events. I would say probably about 1,000 community members a year in the deaf and hard of hearing community, so 5,000 total.
That's fantastic news. We thank you so much for reaching the community. You know, you're our lifeline to the deaf and hard of hearing community, and we so appreciate that. As well as appreciate Michelle, you, and you, Amy, for being here on the show. Thank you, ladies, so much for being here today. And now we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to talk about the Komen Central Valley Race for the Cure.
Survivors.
Did you know that when you participate and fundraise for the Race for the Cure in Fresno, you're making an investment in a healthier future for local women and men in our community? 75% of the net proceeds from the race stays local to fund life-saving education, screening, and treatment programs. 25% of the remaining proceeds funds breast cancer research.
15 of the most recognizable and influential people throughout this race's history will be recognized today as our 15 Faces for 15 Races. KC24 Anchor was instrumental in bringing the life-saving buddy check program to the Central Valley. We are honored that she's been our Race for the Cure MC for many, many years. Thank you, Stephanie. The lovely Sheriff Margaret Mims. This high-profile community leader elected to take her breast cancer diagnosis public so that she can educate local residents about the importance of early detection. Early detection saves lives, and she is a living, breathing proof of that. Waiting rooms, and there's a lot of people sitting in there, different degrees of being sick. When I went to see him, I said, "Doctor," I said, "look at this, all of these people." And he looked at me and he says, "Yeah, you must think I think everybody has cancer." And he said, "You probably think everybody's a criminal." And he put that into perspective for me. And I've always been thankful for the care I've received, always thankful for the early detection, and my thanks to our medical professionals today. So let's raise a lot of money so they can get with it. Thank you so much.
What's up? Okay, I guess we're supposed to say something. My name is Jody Joe from the Kiss Country Morning Show. I'm a warrior right now. Last year, yes, all you survivors, you guys made me cry today. I got to walk for the first time. I was diagnosed on June 24th. Last year, Charlie and I were at this race, and I said, "Charlie, we have to be a bigger part of this next year." And Charlie said, "Well, Jody, you went to the extreme this year. You probably shouldn't have gone and got breast cancer just so we could be a bigger part of the COVID race this year." But I didn't do it on purpose, I promise. But I am truly honored to be here today and be a part of all of you who have been a survivor, or you have known somebody who has gone through this. That is why we are all here. And I'll tell you what, as somebody who goes through it, everybody keeps asking me, "What can I do for you? What can I do for you?" And what you can do for us, that are warriors and that are survivors is to support us 100%, because we know that it's you guys that are supporting us that go through almost as tough a road as we do as people who are going through chemotherapy and surgeries. And I thank each and every one of you for being here, and I really do applaud you for supporting what an amazing cause and race this is. And Charlie has been one of my rocks through this whole thing. I think he's cried more than I have about this whole cancer. But thank you everybody for being here, and thank you so much for allowing me to be here.
This is AJ and Kelly from Y11, our sister station. We acknowledge them. But honestly, people go, "What's with the horns, Charlie?" And I said, because we're fighting like hell for this cancer. And I gotta say, Jody has just done this in the public. Been out open with it, shaved her head in front of everybody. And I see those mornings where she's sitting there and I know she doesn't feel good, and she pulls it together and I got this. She fights, she gets on the air, and she supports this, and she gets the message out that you need to check your breast, because the mammogram's not always right. And she's a fighter, and I'm her biggest fan, and thank you so much, Komen. Let's beat cancer!
In order to continue funding free mammograms, lymphedema treatment, and breast cancer education for all cultures, we need your help. Please consider taking our Power of 10 challenge to raise $100. And it's so easy. Just ask 10 family members, friends, or coworkers for just $10. That $100 can pay for testing for your mom, sister, aunt, or friend. That $100 can help save a life. To learn more about the programs that are available, visit KomenCentralValley.org grants. Thank you for your support.
WWE superstar John Cena here, and I'm proud to support Susan G. Komen in their mission to help women in need across the nation and around the globe. Join WWE and Susan G. Komen as we team up against breast cancer by joining or starting a Team WWE at a Race for the Cure event in your area. Take action and come together with other WWE fans in support of a worthy cause. Find a race near you or go to raceforthecure.org.
I'm Sharon Johnson, the Executive Director of the Susan G. Komen Central Valley affiliate. Did you know that when you participate and fundraise for the Race for the Cure in Fresno, you're making an investment in a healthier future for local women and men in our community? 75% of the net proceeds from the race stays local to fund life-saving education, screening, and treatment programs. 25% of the remaining proceeds funds breast cancer research. I've survived breast cancer twice due to cutting-edge breast cancer research. In order to continue funding free mammograms, lymphedema treatment, and breast cancer education for all cultures, we need your help. Please consider taking our Power of 10 challenge to raise $100, and it's so easy. Just ask 10 family members, friends, or coworkers for just $10. That $100 can pay for testing for your mom, sister, aunt, or friend. That $100 can help save a life. To learn more about the programs that are available, visit KomenCentralValley.org grants. Thank you for your support. Welcome back. I'd like to introduce Susan Coulter, breast cancer survivor and Educational Services Director for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing Service Center, and our interpreter, Erin Ruiz. Thank you very much, ladies, for being with us today. Susan, you were employed by the Deaf and Hard of Hearing Service Center when you were diagnosed with breast cancer, is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
And had you already received education through a breast cancer awareness program that they had had?
Actually, not really. I mean, I knew a little bit about breast cancer, more about checking every month, size of the lump, but really intense education not. So it was through my own experience that I learned a lot. But it happened that when I was diagnosed, we did have program at the HHSC with the Komen support, and one person in the program went with me to all of my appointments and helped me through the process. So I got the call that I had ductal carcinoma inside too. I had no idea what that was, so I immediately went to the computer to look, read about that. Then I had to go in for my MRI, and then I had to go through my surgery, and then treatment after that. I had to do radiation for 1 month every day. So all of that process I learned by read, I learned myself, so I feel like I was able to understand now, which is why I'm excited about being involved in our current program. Best, I look forward to going with women who need anytime, go to appointment, and help them to understand what's involved in the process.
And it's touching that you're able to share with us your diagnosis today, and you will be an advantage to anyone there at the Deaf and Hard of Hearing Center, not only to be able to share your experience, but to help others that may be diagnosed. So that type of one-on-one with people is invaluable.
Yes, I agree.
What are the challenges that the deaf and hard of hearing women face when diagnosed with breast cancer?
I think a challenge is that they may not know that we have services at our office. They don't know that they can find support, seldom or isolated. They don't know what to do. And our goal is to make sure that we get word out about our program. And some ways of doing that is through other programs that we already have, workshops that we have regularly, every week, that I can meet people there and let them know about the program and invite them to the events and the monthly workshops that we will be doing. We also have a group called Sign and Sew Guild, and they meet every week, and they're a wonderful group of ladies. And even before we got the Komen funding, they were already thinking about how they could be involved in our fundraising for October, because the agency always involved with the Race for the Cure. And they want to decorate bars and do an auction with that in October. So that's a way of getting word out, letting people know they can come and be involved with that, and then at the same time lead to a discussion about our BEST program and how we can support them so they don't feel isolated, that they have some place to go if they have a diagnosis. Other challenges include communication so many times. The doctor's office maybe does not provide a sign language interpreter if that's what their communication access is. So we can advocate for that, educate that doctor's office about the need for a sign language interpreter. But also the person might be hard of hearing, they may not sign, so they might have other communication needs. Maybe they need real one-on-one to understand, maybe they need somebody to write notes, maybe they need a special FM system to hear in that appointment. Also, my experience when I went in and they were showing me a video of the biopsy, what it would look like with someone talking, well, I can't hear and understand the talking,
right.
And that video was not captioned. And that is another area that I'm hoping that we can advocate for, to get the videos captioned for people either deaf can watch and understand, but hard of hearing too, that can't pick up the sound, they will be able to read.
That's a really good point. And I guess that I did not realize that doctors' offices should they know that someone deaf or hard of hearing is coming in, they need to be proactive about bringing in an interpreter. Because we talked before about receiving a diagnosis of breast cancer and having a family member there to interpret is really not conducive to you understanding what's going on or really being able to ask the right questions because it is a family member. So what is your advice rather than take a family member?
There's many challenges involved in having a family member. One reason because they might be a signer, but it doesn't mean they're an interpreter. And interpreting is a specialized field that takes special training, a lot of practice, internship, and many take tests to become certified in their field. If it's just a family member, they may not have the full vocabulary necessary to interpret that. They
Like
might not know
vocabulary.
all the signs. Yes.
Like the medical, yeah.
Medical vocabulary, exactly. So they may be lacking, so they maybe will not explain clear. They will not say everything that the doctor's saying. So the patient only gets a little bit of information concerning that diagnosis. Also, there's a lot of emotions involved. So family member will hear the doctor say breast cancer and they might freak themselves and they're not able to convey that information to the deaf person. They may withhold the actual accurate information from them. So with DHHC, our goal is to make sure they have professional certified interpreters to go to their appointments. And then also, there are other situations where family members maybe take over too in the appointment and they speak for the deaf person or they make decisions for the deaf person. And DHHC is very strong advocate for the deaf person to learn the information themselves and make their own decision. So one way would be, one, have an interpreter there, but also someone from the BEST program to go with, and that person can take notes and review it later with the deaf person so they can make accurate decisions. So it's important that they have professional interpreters to get accurate and complete information.
That is such a solid point, because I'm thinking back to when I was told the first time that I had breast cancer, and you can remember when you were told, your mind kind of goes blank. And I do think that happens with family members. Even more reason to have a professional there on your behalf so that the right questions can be asked and that you can empower yourself in this medical diagnosis by asking those questions as well.
Yes.
Okay. It's really important that all of our grantees collaborate with one another, and Deaf and Hard of Hearing Service Center certainly does that. On our website, on the Komen Central Valley website, we do have a video up as far as the American Sign Language video, or a link to the video in case there's anyone out there. And I would imagine that Deaf and Hard of Hearing Center will have something on their website that will relate to today's roundtable discussion as well. I'd like to thank both of you ladies for being here today. Thank you to the grantees that are Komen Central Valley's lifeline to the community. They join us in their mission to end breast cancer and also to ensure a healthy future for our local residents. Why Komen Central Valley? We're the only nonprofit that funds life-saving cancer education, screening, and treatment for our community. We would like to appeal to everyone in the community to step up this year and register for the Komen Central Valley race, because you never know, the next breast cancer diagnosis could be your mother, your sister, wife, or friend. Join us Saturday, October 25th at Fresno State.